Hey gang, Larry Vickers here. I've got a really cool 7.62 NATO, in this case semi-automatic only, battle rifle for you. SIG AMT. It's the civilian version of the SIG 510-4. It is based off of the SIG 510-1, also known as the Sturmgewehr 57, which was the service rifle for Switzerland for many years before being replaced by the SIG 550, also known as the STG 90. The SIG 510-1 or STG 57 is chambered in 7.5 Swiss, which is kind of a Swiss proprietary cartridge. An excellent cartridge, but this one is chambered in 7.62 NATO. This was aimed more at the export market. As a matter of fact, Bolivia and Chile both bought the gun. It's a shorter and lighter version in addition to being chambered in a different caliber. This is one I got many years ago for my collection. I've changed a few things. The standard AMT has a non-grenade launcher barrel, meaning you can't fit rifle grenades like this one, and also has a threaded muzzle, and they were imported both with and without flash suppressors. I later then had the barrel swap to a surplus SIG 510-4 barrel. All of this is machined internally to the barrel, including the flash suppressor. Also had a folding bipod. The bipod folded and laid down across the top of the barrel shroud, and then you pivot it and then dropped it down on the bottom in order to use it prone. I swapped that out because I like the look of the handguard, a wooden handguard on the top. Other than that, it's stock and in mint condition based on the day I bought it many years ago. Now I'm in a personal quest to preserve some SIG Swiss history because frankly, the quality of SIG Swiss-made small arms is probably the finest of the post-World War II era. As a matter of fact, to find guns that you would say they're as well made as, or in some cases better, you have to go pre-World War II to various Czech, German, and Swiss-made small arms. Their guns were outstanding. They always fought export laws, and the problem with them around the world is armies always want to outfit their soldiers with the cheapest, most effective weapon possible. SIG rarely fits that bill. They might be effective, but they're rarely, if ever, the cheapest. And also remember, a gun like this SIG AMT or a SIG P210 or an STG 57 or an STG 90, and they're never gonna make them again. That era of Swiss-made small arms is history as we know it. All right, so they only go one direction in value, and that's up. I hope you enjoy a very unique 7.62 NATO semi-automatic modern sporting rifle, the SIG AMT. Have a good one. Okay, before I light up the SIG AMT, I want to point out a few things. First off, charging handle very similar to the K31, the Swiss bolt-action service rifle, which was the predecessor to the STG 57, the 7.5 by 55 bigger brother to the SIG AMT or the SIG 510-4. All right, all the way to the rear, let it go. It's a roller lock gun, a little bit different execution than what you see in the German G3 series. However, it still originates from the Sturmgewehr 45. Also notice loaded chamber indicator. When there's no round in the chamber, this little nub is flush with the top of the trunnion. When you see that protruding, you know there's a round in the chamber. Okay, time to go hot. Overall, I gotta be honest with you, one of the softest shooting 308s I've shot in a long time. Now, this gun's out of my personal collection. I haven't lit it up in many years, and frankly, I forgot what it was like to shoot it, and it's pretty soft shooting. Now, fluted chamber, just like you see with other roller lock guns like the G3 series. Also, in addition, winter trigger here. If you fold this down, it allows you to fire it with gloves, and it also has the benefit of making the trigger pull feel a lot lighter because of the leverage from the longer trigger. Just like that, pretty slick. Okay, now, a couple things. Magazine 20 rounds, very well made. Notice the little feed ramp up front. It's the only weapon I know of that has a feed ramp built into the design of the actual magazine, and you can imagine the cost to produce that. Goes in much like you see on an AK, nose in, like that, and then the lever in the rear is just like an AK. sights, unlike the sights on the STG 57, which were clearly inspired by the World War II German FG-42, and they fold, these do not fold. You have a front sight that is elevation and windage adjustable, and the rear one is very much like the one you see on the FNFL. It's a ladder design that goes from 200 all the way to 600 meters. You can slide it very much like the one you see in an FAL. No bolt hold open device on the SIG STG 57 or the SIG AMT or 510-4. Interestingly enough, when the Swiss went to the STG 90, which is more or less a high-end copy of the AK, they incorporated a bolt hold open device, despite the fact that their predecessor rifles, like the STG 57, doesn't have one, and neither does the AK. Here we go. Point out to you, Selector is almost useless on this. A left-hander, in theory, I guess if the safety was loosened, could actually manipulate it with their trigger finger, but it's pretty stiff. For a right-hander, there's no way for a right-hander to get his thumb to it. It almost leads me to believe that the Swiss were kind of thinking condition 3 with these guns. They would have the gun already in the mode they want it to be in, semi or fully automatic, loaded magazine in place, and then in combat, soldier would rack around into the chamber and drive on, because the Selector, frankly, is pretty much useless. There you go. Once again, like I said, bolt does not lock to the rear on an empty chamber. You get that click. Now you know it's time to reload and drive on. Overall, really slick shooting 7.62 NATO modern sporting rifle, SIG AMT. Hey, thanks for watching the Vickers Tactical YouTube channel. To subscribe, click here. And to watch some of my favorite videos, click here. Have a good one. LAV out.